Okay, so you're curious about this whole legal data harvesting thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's kind of creepy, right? When you hear that phrase, legal data harvesting. We took a deep dive into this authority article, and wow, there's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, you know what they say, right? If you're not paying for the product, you are the product. And this article, it really goes deep on how companies get that data, even when you think, hey, I'm pretty secure.
It's scary how much they can get away with legally. We're not even talking about, like, the illegal stuff here.
Exactly. It's all above board, but still morally kind of iffy. The thing is, it all starts with permission. Companies, legally, they need you to say yes, but they've gotten really good at getting that yes.
Oh, yeah, the dark patterns. The article talks about how these designs, they're, like, meant to confuse you.
It's like a magic trick, with your data. They use tricky wording, confusing layouts, hidden checkboxes, all to nudge you into giving up more than you realize.
Like those terms and conditions, right. Nobody reads those. Or that tiny print at the bottom of pop-ups. Remember Cambridge Analytica?
Oh, yeah, that was a classic example. 87 million Facebook users.
Just from a personality quiz, it's crazy.
Exactly, those seemingly small permissions. They can add up to a massive data grab.
So they're using essentially good design,
The things that should make websites easy to use.
but they're twisting it.
It's weaponized design,
To
basically.
get at your data, okay, so how do they do it? The article breaks down three main tactics they use.
Lay it on us. I'm sure we've all fallen for this stuff.
First up, hidden permissions. They bury the consent boxes in fine print, or with other stuff, like agreeing to the terms of service. It's bundled in.
Makes it super easy to overlook. They know most people just click through.
Exactly. Who has time to read all that legal jargon anyway? Then there's urgency and scarcity tactics. Booking.com, they're the kings of this. Only one room left.
Oh, yeah, or those little red notification dots constantly popping up, making you feel like you gotta act now,
Total FOMO, fear of missing out.
playing on that impulse.
And lastly, there are the scare tactics. The article gives the example of Facebook's facial recognition. They make it sound like if you don't opt in, your identity will be stolen.
Preying on our deepest fears.
It's frustrating, honestly. They use psychology against us.
They know how to push those buttons.
Okay, so we got to watch out for those dark patterns, for sure. But what about encryption? Isn't that, like, supposed to keep us safe? My phone's encrypted, I figured I was good.
Encryption's good, definitely, but it's not foolproof. Think of it like a lock on your door. It's a good start. But not all locks are created equal, right?
So there are different types of encryption. The article kind of mentioned it, but didn't go too deep.
Exactly. Like you got your basic lock, and then you got that bank vault door. The gold standard is end-to-end encryption. Your data's scrambled on your device while it's traveling and on their servers.
So even if someone intercepts it, they can't read it.
Exactly. Like having that deadbolt on your data the whole time.
But not everything uses end-to-end encryption.
Right. And that's where it gets tricky. Companies, they'll say they use encryption, but they don't always make it clear what type.
So just seeing that little lock icon, it's not enough.
Unfortunately not. It's one of those misleading things.
Okay, give me some examples, because now I'm worried.
Sure. The article talked about Gmail, Evernote, for example. They use encryption, yeah, but it's not end-to-end.
Meaning?
Meaning, theoretically, someone at Google at Evernote could potentially see your emails, your notes.
Oh, my God.
And then on top of that, you got third-party apps. Say you use a different email app on your phone. Even if your email's encrypted, that app might still have access.
It's like, what's the point then, almost?
It's about the whole chain, right? Weakest link and all that.
Exactly.
The article even mentions Google lets those third-party apps in, with your permission, of course, buried deep in the settings.
Which nobody reads. So.
Right, it's tough to keep track.
Okay, so email's kind of out the window. What about, like, I don't know, my smart speaker? That's got to be safe, right?
That's where it gets even more interesting. Think about something like Amazon Alexa. Those recordings, they are encrypted in transit.
Okay, so while they're being sent to Amazon.
Exactly, but here's the kicker. Once those recordings are on Amazon's servers,
Yeah.
not fully encrypted anymore.
Wait, so someone at Amazon could just listen.
The article implies that's a possibility.
My smart speaker might not be so smart after all.
It's all about the nuances, right? Encryption's great, but it's not a magic shield.
Okay, so we got sneaky designs, encryption's not perfect. What about the stuff that IS supposed to protect us? Like antivirus software, VPNs, those got to be good, right?
But that's where it gets even more interesting.
So what you're saying is, I can't even trust the stuff that's, like, meant to protect me. That's a bit much.
It's not ideal, right? But the article does offer some hope. It gives some practical steps you can take to fight back a bit.
Okay, lay it on me, because right now, I'm ready to, I don't know, move to the woods, live off the grid.
Well, it starts with being a more aware user. Before you download any app, sign up for anything. Really look at what info they're asking for.
No more blindly clicking agree, huh?
Exactly. Those permissions are there for a reason. And be wary of apps from companies you can't even find info on, or ones based in countries without strong data laws, like, Europe's usually good, US, Canada.
So if it's some shady company, I can't even Google them, red flag.
Huge red flag. And here's a tip. Search the app name PLCUS, the word review or scam. Chances are, if something's fishy, someone's already complained online.
Ooh, good tip. Okay, so besides being picky about apps,
Minimize your use of those ad-based platforms, Facebook especially.
easier said than done, right?
True, but the less you use them, the less they have to grab.
Makes sense. Got to be mindful of that digital footprint.
Exactly. Same goes for things like Google Wi-Fi, by the way. They're collecting data from your own home, basically.
So just go back to like regular routers.
There are alternatives, mesh networks. Some companies are better, but it takes research.
Okay, so less data out there, being picky about apps. But let's be real, we can't avoid these companies entirely.
True. So let's talk about boosting your own security.
Hit me.
Two-factor authentication, 2FA, it's your best friend. But don't rely on the ones that text you a code.
Really? Why not?
Yeah.
I thought those were good.
SIM jacking, it's a thing now. Someone steals your phone number. That happened to the CEO of Twitter, even.
No way.
Yep. So use an app-based 2FA like Google Authenticator, Authy. Those codes are generated offline, way harder to hack.
Switching to that ASA, noted.
Mm-hmm.
What about like my actual computer, the data on there?
Full disk encryption, FDE. Gotta turn that on.
Sounds intense. Is that hard to do?
Not at all. Mac calls it File Vault. Windows calls it BitLocker. Basically scrambles everything on your hard drive.
So even if someone steals my laptop,
They're not getting into those files without the key.
like a super secure digital vault.
Exactly. And here's one more that's super simple. Cover your webcam, cover your microphone when not using them.
Seriously, you think people are like watching?
You'd be surprised even Zuckerberg does it.
Okay, you've convinced me. I'm covering mine right now.
And don't delay those software updates. Those often have security fixes.
Yeah, I know I'm bad at that.
One last thing. Password manager.
Oh, I love my password manager. Can't live without it.
Right. Create strong passwords, can tell you if any have been breached.
It's a lifesaver. Well, this has been eye-opening, to say the least. Sneaky designs, encryption's not enough, gotta watch out for the protectors themselves. It's a lot.
It is, but you're more aware now. That's what matters. Knowledge is power, right? Take those steps. Be proactive.
Don't let the bad guys win. That's our show for today, everyone. Thanks for diving deep with us.